Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Janabalabha Kirbadhari. Gopi Janabalabha Girdhari. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Janabalabha Girdhari. Jai Gopi Janabalabha Girdhari. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Gopi Janabalabha Girdhari. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gora Hari Bo, Gora Haribol. Nitai Gora Haribol. 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 Gora Haribol. Jaya Panchatattva, 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 Jaya Panchatattva. Jaya Panchatattva, 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 Jaya Panchatattva. Jaya Mishabam Sabadarajakachaya. Astatara Satashi Simad. A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki. Jai Om Vishnu Bhabam Sabadarajakacharya. Astatara Satashi Simad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada ki. Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda ki. ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki. Prem Sakaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki. Shri Sri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kun Radha Kun Giri Govardhan ki. Vrindavan Dham ki. Navadvip Dham ki. Ganga Mai ki. Yamuna Mai ki. Tulasi Devi ki. Bhakti Devi ki. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda ki. Go Premanandi. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to Sisi Guru Gauranga. So today, do we have a verse on the board? Or? Hare Krishna. It was on when I came in. Now it is on again. Thank you. We're going to continue from where we left off yesterday about our wandering throughout the universes, and sometime, we can obtain the greatest fortune and become Bhagyavan, the carrier of the greatest benefit, the greatest wealth, the greatest fortune. Why? Because we encounter the combined mercy of Guru and Krishna, which shows as the seed, the Bhakti Lata Bija, the seed of the devotional creeper. So we spoke extensively yesterday about this rare fortune, true fortune, a fortune that instead of your putting your faith and hope in flimsy things that come and go so quickly, instead you can invest in growing the creeper of bhakti. And that creeper of bhakti grows from a seed. So today we'll be talking more about the seed. Yesterday we discussed how that combined mercy functions Just like the rain cloud picks up water from the ocean. The ocean water evaporates and forms a rain cloud, and then the rain cloud dumps the moisture upon the dry, parched land. So similarly, the spiritual master has no mercy of his own. Everything comes from the ocean of mercy, Krishna. So it's teamwork. And by that divine teamwork, we get the Bhakti Lata Bija, the seed of the creeper of devotion. So what do we do with that seed? Or more particularly, what is that seed? What does it consist of? That we'll discuss today in text 152 of Madhya Lila, chapter 19, the instructions of Lord Chaitanya to Sri Rupa Goswami. And there'll be some points in this purport that we'll need to unpack and discuss for our benefit. But first, we'll chant. Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda. Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda. Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Malli hoya kore se bija aropana. Shabana kirtana jole kore se chana. Mali hoye kore se bija aropana. Slavana kirtana jale kore se chana. Mali hoye kore se bija aropana. Savana kirtana jale kore se chana. Vaishnavis. Malihoya, becoming a gardener. Kore, does, say, that, bija, seed of devotional service. Aropana, sowing. Shravana, of hearing. Kirtana, of chanting. Jale, with the water. Koreye, does. Sechana, sprinkling. Translation. When a person receives the seed of devotional service, he should take care of it by becoming a gardener and sowing the seed in his heart. If he waters the seed gradually by the process of Shravana and Kirtana, hearing and chanting, the seed will begin to sprout. Purport. To live with devotees or to live in a temple means to associate with the Shravana Kirtana process. Sometimes neophyte devotees think that they can continue the Shravana Kirtana process without worshiping the deity, but the execution of such Shravana Kirtana is meant for highly developed devotees like Haridas Thakur, who engaged in the Shravana Kirtana process without worshiping the deity. However, one should not falsely imitate Haridas Thakur and abandon deity worship just to try to engage in Shravana Kirtana. This is not possible for neophyte devotees. The word Guru Prasad indicates that the spiritual master is very merciful in bestowing the boon of devotional service upon the disciple. That is the best possible gift the spiritual master has to offer. Those with a background of pious life are eligible to receive life's supreme benefit. And to bestow this benefit, the Supreme Personality of Godhead sends his representative to impart his mercy. Endowed with the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the spiritual master distributes the mercy to those who are elevated and pious. Thus, the spiritual master trains his disciples to render devotional service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is called Guru Kripa. It is Krishna Prasad, Krishna's mercy, that he sends a bona fide spiritual master to the deserving disciple. By the mercy of Krishna, one meets the bona fide spiritual master, and by the mercy of the spiritual master, the disciple is fully trained in the devotional service of the Lord. Bhakti Lata Bija means the seed of devotional service. Everything has an original cause or seed. For any idea, program, plan, or device, there is first of all the contemplation of the plan, and that is called the bija or seed. The methods, rules, and regulations by which one is perfectly trained in devotional service constitute the Bhakti Lata Bija, or seed of devotional service. This Bhakti Lata Bija is received from the spiritual master by the grace of Krishna. Other seeds called Anya Bilasha Bija include Karma Bija and Jnana Bija. If one is not fortunate enough to receive the Bhakti Lata Bija from the spiritual master, he instead cultivates such seeds as Karma Bija, Jnana Bija, or political, social, or philanthropic bijas. However, the Bhakti Lata Bija is different from these other bijas. The Bhakti Lata Bija can be received only through the mercy of the spiritual master. Therefore, one has to satisfy the spiritual master to get the Bhakti Lata Bija. Yasya prasadad bhagavat prasada. The Bhakti Lata Bija is the origin of devotional service. Unless one satisfies the spiritual master, he gets the bija, or root cause, of karma, jnana, and yoga without the benefit of devotional service. But one who is faithful to his spiritual master gets the Bhakti Lata Bija. This Bhakti Lata Bija is received when one is initiated by the bona fide spiritual master. After receiving the spiritual master's mercy, one must repeat his instructions, and this is called Shravana Kirtana, hearing and chanting. One who has not properly heard from the spiritual master or who does not follow the regular principles is not fit for chanting, Kirtana. This is explained in the Bhagavad Gita. Vyavasaka buddhya ekeha kurunandana. One who has not listened carefully to the instructions of the spiritual master is unfit for chanting or for preaching the cult of devotional service. One has to water the Bhakti Lata Bija by receiving instructions from the spiritual master. Translation again. When a person receives the seed of devotional service, he should take care of it by becoming a gardener and sowing the seed in his heart. If he waters the seed, gradually, by the process of Shravana and Kirtana, hearing and chanting, the seed will begin to sprout. Om Gana Chimadandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitang Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The first thing that this verse teaches us is that we have to be responsible for our spiritual progress. You have the greatest fortune by receiving the seed of the creeper of bhakti. But what will you do after you receive that greatest fortune? You have to be responsible by taking care of the seed so that the seed will sprout. No one can do that for you. As much as someone can care for you and truly love you, what can they do if you do not take care to water the seed of the creeper of devotion? So this verse instructs that you should take care of it by becoming a gardener. Gardeners are always on the watch for weeds, pests, and other unwanted items in the garden. And they're always careful to nurture and nourish what they're trying to grow. Similarly, in our spiritual life, we have to be mindful, we have to be diligent. Sometimes it is said that diligence is the price for freedom. Mundaners use that in the mundane sense, of course. You always have to be politically aware, an active citizen to guard against any governmental abuses, governmental neglect. But this saying, diligence and vigilance is the price for freedom, has its real meaning in bhakti. Sometimes it seems like a burden to always have to consider, is this what I'm doing truly for Krishna's pleasure? Is this behavior that I'm having beneficial for Krishna's service? But that is part of love, the beginning of love, that you're considerate. Often spouses may complain that their spouse is not sensitive enough, not considerate enough. But we can apply that to our dealings with devotional service, which are our dealings with Krishna, because devotional service is Krishna's internal potency. How much am I taking care in my devotional service? First of all, we need to have devotional service. We should never have a defeatist attitude that my work, my family affairs are so much, I can't do anything more than that. It's always possible to do some service for Krishna. In that way, we become responsible. It's what we can actually do in this material world. It's what we can actually choose to do, free of the modes of material nature. A choice that's not inspired by the modes of material nature, like all of our mundane choices. No, the choice to engage in devotional service is inspired by the internal potency of Krishna, the devotional energy, Bhakti Shakti. So Lord Chaitanya is speaking to you in this verse and telling you, if you water the seed, and how do you water the seed? By the process of hearing and chanting about Krishna. If you'll do that regularly, gradually the seed will begin to sprout. How do you know that the seed is sprouting? When you develop a taste for chanting, for hearing. Then you can know that you are properly taking advantage of the combined mercy of Guru and Krishna to give you that bija, to give you that seed. So we have an individual responsibility, and no one can carry out that responsibility for you. You have to do it. Whether you're a single person or a family person, you have the same personal responsibility to water the seed so that the seed will sprout into the Bhakti Lata, the Bhakti creeper. Now, this first purport may confuse you if you don't understand it in context. It says that, well, the first sentence is quite clear for us. To live with devotees or live in a temple means to associate with the Shravana Kirtana process, the process of hearing and chanting about Krishna. We receive that quite clearly, that understanding. Living amongst devotees is not so much a material social arrangement. Devotees in their sangha, whether it's just their family, just the two of you, or however is in your immediate family, or however is in the house you're living in, the house you're sharing, the ashram you're living in. It's not just about sharing accommodation. It's about sharing in the hearing and chanting process. So the more we see one another as opportunities for hearing and chanting about Krishna, the more enlivening the relationship becomes. So you have to know how to skillfully take advantage of the association of devotees for hearing and chanting about Krishna. So when we consider where we live and who we live with. That means considering how is the hearing and chanting process going on in this group, whether it's a group of 2, 4, 6, whatever, 50, 100. Now, the next part is not confusing, but we might apply confusion to it. It says that sometimes neophyte devotees think they can continue the Shravana Kirtana process without worshiping the deity, but the execution of such Shravana Kirtana is meant for highly developed devotees like Haridas Thakur, who engage in the Shravana Kirtana process without worshiping the deity. However, one should not falsely imitate Haridas Thakur and abandon deity worship just to try to engage in Shravana Kirtana. This is not possible for neophyte devotees. First of all, this verse is referring to persons who want to, in a solitary place, just attempt to chant Hare Krishna all day. It's happened a few times in the history of the Krishna Conscious Society. Someone just says, I'm simply going to chant all day long, and that's the only thing I'll do. And they didn't last long, because in this day and age, no one can imitate Haridas Thakur and just chant japa 24/7. Another point is that this purport refers to neophyte devotees. So you might say, well, what about here at the Bhakti Lounge? We don't have formal deity worship. So are we artificially imitating Haridas Thakur? No, because the Bhakti Lounge is meant for outreach. It's not meant for practicing hearing and chanting in a solitary place. In other words, what we have here is not meant for neophytes. And this purport refers to neophytes who think they can just chant Hare Krishna alone in their room 24/7, and that's it. No, this is Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan mission. Congregational togetherness for glorifying Krishna and spreading Krishna's glories. And we're doing that for the Panchatattva, who are very liberal. They like to see chanting, dancing, Sankirtan, prasad distribution. That's how they're worshipped. So actually, even if you're a newcomer to the Bhakti Lounge, you're immersed in activities beyond the neophyte platform. Congratulations. That's what's going on, whether you know it or not. You're thrust in the midst of Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan mission, giving bhakti to yourself and giving it to others. These are the activities of an advanced devotee. So sometimes newcomers get the great fortune of being at a place where they can immediately be dunked into the nectar pool of Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan activities, chanting, dancing, taking prasad, and distributing all the above to others. So there's no question of abandoning deity worship. You have the Panchatattva, they are pleased by chanting, dancing, prasad, books, kirtan. These are the activities of advanced devotees. Sometimes it is said that These kind of centers are not meant for grihastas, for family life. I would like to speak a little bit about that propaganda. Families are all different. Some families just want to do temple attendance. That's nice. That's considered Kanishta Adhikari life, third class devotee. Other families, while minding their family affairs, want to aspire for the second class platform, Madhyam Adhikari, who sees the need to give Krishna to others. Third class devotee, Kanishta Adhikari, doesn't see that need. I just go to the temple, offer pranams, obeisances to the deity, put a little something in the box, in the hundi, and disappear until next week, and again you come. That is neophyte level of bhakti. But the intermediate stage of bhakti, the Madhyam Adhikari, is involved with outreach, giving Krishna to others. Somehow or other. I was just reading in a beautiful, I recommend you read it, chapter summary of the 7th canto, chapter on ideal family life. We spoke a bit about that last night. Beautiful summary, enriched and elaborative summary, where it says, the grihasta is the greatest communist because he or she is always giving something to all living entities, humans, birds, bees, these are all mentioned. And that the prime activity of the grihasta is prasad distribution. So it depends on what kind of family you're speaking of. What are the goals of the family? What level the family is on? Some families want to be involved with outreach. Others don't. So you can't just generalize and say, these kind of outreach centers are not meant for families, not meant for grihastas. Depends on what kind of grihastas you're talking about. What level they're on, what level they want to be on. Some, although they may not directly engage in outreach activities, they like to support the outreach activities, and they get the credit just as those who engage in the outreach get credit. That's the mercy of the Sankirtan mission. Those who support the mission get the same benefit as those who are pushing the mission on the front lines. This is Lord Chaitanya's mercy. Some families, however, find that they just want to be left alone and tend to their family affairs, and just like churchgoers, go to the temple once a week, offer your respects, hear a little something, and then disappear. There'll be many families like that. But some want to be merciful. Having received Lord Chaitanya's mercy, they want to also be merciful and distribute that mercy that they've received to others. They want to be intermediate bhaktas, Madhyam Adhikaris. Of course, as you know, the first class devotee, the Uttama Adhikari, comes down, so to speak, this is metaphorical speaking, to the second class platform in order to preach, in order to do outreach. Because on the first class platform, Uttama Adhikari, the devotee sees everyone's engaged in Krishna's service. There's no need to do any outreach. They're all serving Krishna's internal potency or Krishna's external potency. Everyone's in some way Krishna conscious. You can't do outreach on that platform with that kind of vision. So it's said that the Uttama Adhikari comes to the second class intermediate platform to act. Because on the second class platform, as you've read many times, I hope, on the second class platform, you make distinctions between those who are devotees, those who are non-devotees, those who are innocent, and those who are envious. You make distinctions, but the Uttama Adhikari, as you know, doesn't make such distinctions. Therefore, there's no outreach that can go on because such a devotee sees everyone somehow or other is serving Krishna. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna asks you to see the distinction between the material and spiritual energy. The ultimate reality, however, is all Krishna's energies are spiritual. Krishna can make the spiritual energy act material, and the material energy act spiritual. He's the master of all his energies. And for Krishna, they're all spiritual. Just like to the electrical engineer in the powerhouse, the power station, it's all electricity that he's pumping out through his devices to countless homes. Now, what the homes do with that electricity, whether they use it to heat the house or cool the house, that's something else. But to the electrical engineer, he's just dealing with electricity. So for Krishna, he's dealing with just his spiritual energy. But he can make his spiritual energy act like it's material. It's a deep subject. Looked at another way, material means simply forgetfulness of Krishna. So the Uttama Adhikari doesn't see anything separate from Krishna, even the material energy, even the materialists. In other words, the material energy is all in your vision. What do you see? And what you see is based on your consciousness. So these type of outreach centers are meant for those who want to be more than neophytes. And that's not everyone. Those devotees who recognize that they are servants of Lord Chaitanya, and they know that the easiest way to get Krishna's mercy is by approaching Krishna through Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We often quote Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, who points out that by serving the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu, Sri Sri Gaur Nitai, by serving their lotus feet in dasya, servitude, that's the thoroughfare to all the other rasas. Sakya rasa, friendship, vatsalya rasa, parental, and madhurya, conjugal rasa. All that is attained most efficiently by service, by focusing on service to Lord Chaitanya's mission. So in other words, these outreach activities and outreach centers are not neophyte activities. Even though someone can begin their spiritual life here, they're getting a taste immediately of the second-class platform, the Madhyama Adhikari platform. And that's great fortune, that from the very beginning of your spiritual life, you're immersed in activities beyond the neophyte level. So that's about the first paragraph. Second paragraph, the word Guru Prasad indicates that the spiritual master is very merciful in bestowing the boon of devotional service upon the disciple. That is the best possible gift the spiritual master has to offer. So you may be wondering, what does the spiritual master do? What does he give? As we were saying yesterday, is he a pen pal? Is he someone you should just download everything on? Is he a therapist? Conversation mate? We hear the best possible gift the spiritual master has to offer is the boon of devotional service. So immediately you might think, uh-oh, that means rosters. A roster is simply a schedule of devotional service. So if you want to know what's the best gift your spiritual master has to offer, you heard it. It's the benediction of devotional service. Amidst all the mundane services you're doing, you get an opportunity for devotional service. So we should cherish that opportunity, treasure that opportunity, and understand this is the best thing the Guru can offer. Those with a background of pious life are eligible to receive life's supreme benefit. What is life's supreme benefit? Devotional service. So here we can check ourselves, put ourselves under a microscope and see what's my attitude toward devotional service. Devotional service means activities for pleasing Krishna. Activity is done with our senses. So you can look at your life and see what's going on by following the devotional service trail. And then you'll know where your life is at. Look for the service. And then look for the devotional service, and then you understand where you're at. Sometimes when I'm doing public events, I speak on the topic, the yoga of money. I'll do that at the end of this month in Hong Kong at a gathering of bankers and corporate execs. So when they heard the topic was the yoga of money, they go, ooh, this is something that's definitely practical. The yoga of money means if you want to understand where your life is going, follow the money trail. How is the money entering into your life and leaving? How is the money entering and exiting? Track it, and then you'll see where most of your life, if you're a materially engaged person, you'll see where most of your life is at. Most people are afraid to admit how much money dominates their life. Some people are proud of it. If you give someone the nickname Money, hey, Money, they feel, oh, they're very, yes. You never had any, you never heard that before? Yes? You had friends called Money? Yes. They it's very nice. Money, yes. And of course, there are various mantras chanted all in the pursuit of money, like, what is it? Marry the money, love comes later. So you can understand so much of an ordinary person's life just by following the money trail, how the money comes in and how it leaves. For devotees, for bhakti yogis, We can understand so much about a person's life by looking for the devotional service, how they are using their, as Bhagavatam says, pranaya, artaya, diya, vacha. Pranaya, their whole life's energies. Arta, their wealth, financial resources. Diya, their intelligence. How are they making plans for assisting Lord Chaitanya's mission? Vacha, how are they using their words for glorifying Krishna? So that's following the Bhakti trail in your life. Endowed with the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the spiritual master distributes the mercy to those who are elevated and pious. Well, would we say that we're coming from backgrounds of elevation and piety? But how is it that we're having an opportunity in devotional service? That is all due to the mercy of Sri Sri Gaur Nitai. Usually, the situation is as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Yesham ta antakatam papam jananam punya karmanam. Those who have made a complete stop to sinful activity and who are performing good karma, pious activities, they have a chance to qualify for devotional service. I don't know how many in this room were coming from such a background of. But what happened? That's Krishna speaking in Bhagavad Gita, and Krishna is very strict. But that same Krishna comes as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and breaks Krishna's rules and gives everyone a chance to engage in the ocean of devotional service. So we should never take that immersion in that ocean for granted. We should always be grateful. Recently, I've been speaking a lot about gratitude. A devotee is someone who is always expressing gratitude. We shouldn't take it for granted, anything that happens in bhakti. We're always expressing thankfulness. If someone has done anything to help you in your spiritual life, even just something apparently small, never let that person forget it. And that person will become inspired then to help others in a more extensive way. But if you don't say anything, and in fact, if the opposite, you become abusive or offensive to someone who's tried to help you, generally such a person, the object of such offense and neglect, will become discouraged. Like, what's the use in reaching out and helping so many persons in their spiritual life when they treat you like this? And then they can decide, that's it. I'm not doing any more outreach activities. I'm just going to mind my own business, chant Hare Krishna alone in my house. And this is a great victory for Maya. It's like in some sports games. If you can get if you can get one of the opposing team to have to, what is it like in soccer? You get the yellow card, and then you get the red card. So and that's great. The star players off the field. So this is how the illusory energy deals with us. How to discourage outreachers. They don't appreciate you did so much, you spilled so much blood to help this person take up bhakti, and now they don't even care about you. They don't acknowledge you. This is what you get for doing such service to Lord Chaitanya. And then you just say, oh, that's it. I'm just going to mind my own business, just lock myself up in my own home. I'll chant and I'll hear and chant on my own. I'll watch things on the internet. That's about it. No more devotees I will be mixing with. Great victory for the illusory energy. A star player is removed from the match. On the other hand, though, an expression of gratitude causes that devotee to want to increase in helping others. It's just natural. We are human beings externally. We're spiritual persons having a human experience. We're not human beings having a spiritual experience. But even though we're spirit soul, we do have human experiences, and we respond like human beings. And human beings like appreciation. I was giving the example in Los Angeles. I was there, has it been 2 weeks? Maybe probably less than 2 weeks ago. I was describing how the first time I went to visit a temple was a major decision for me. As you know, I had been reading Prabhupada's books hours every day for 6 months, but refused to go to any bhakti gatherings. What to speak of a temple? No way. But then, as you know, I met a Sankirtan devotee on the street and gave a huge sum of money. I don't know how I decided to do that. And finally, I thought, I might as well go see this temple and see where all my money's gone to. As many of you know, it was in today's equivalent, it was a total of $20,000 I gave to a Sankirtan devotee on the street. 20,000 US dollars, not New Zealand dollars. Don't ask me what I was doing at the age of 21 with all that money, but it's New York City. It was all legal. So finally I decided, because the Sankirtan devotee had told me that, by the way, you've given so much money, you are now a life member. You can go to any temple in the world and stay there for free. I thought, well, that sounds practical. Yeah, I want to do a bit of world touring. Okay, let me first go to the local temple in New York City and see what it's like. I was very nervous, going to a strange part of the city where I never would normally go to. And I came out of the subway station, and it was a 10-minute walk from the subway station to the temple. But I could, as a few blocks away from the temple, I could smell the incense. It's very exotic. And hear, so what a strange sound. I don't know if I should go in. But I walked up the steps to the front door. I opened the door, and there was a devotee whose service was to be the official greeter. As soon as I opened the door, there he was. He said, "Welcome, brother. You've come to the right place. Come on in. Take off your shoes. Put your shoes here. Go on in the temple room. Move your feet around to the music." All my fears went out the window immediately. So whenever I see that devotee, even 50 years later, I always thank him just for that. So we could all do with quite a bit more thank youing and expressing gratitude. Otherwise, we can start taking devotee association for granted. You guys, you prabhus, You Davies, you're here every day. I see you all every day. We can start to become like skin that develops calluses, thick-skinned. But the life of a bhakti yogi is one of being joyful. And joy means expressing gratitude, thankfulness. Just try it. Just try saying thank you. That's a big step forward for many. As the years go by, someone who's helped you in bhakti, sometimes you may not agree with everything they say to you, but you can still express gratitude for that person's help that they put into your life. After all, we're all individuals, and individual means varying perspectives from what other individuals have. But that doesn't mean just like, well, I don't know if I like the way such and such person leads kirtan. That's it. But still, there's so much you can express to that person about your gratitude. Thank you for your years of service. Thank you for this. Thank you for that. And you'll find that this is contagious. This kind of behavior is very contagious. You can start in your own home. The spouse you see every day and night, you can start just saying, thank you. You'd be shocked at what a difference it makes. So we should embark upon a gratitude campaign. Gratitude for the Bhakti Lata Bija, the seed of the creeper of devotion. Gratitude for the process for watering that seed. Gratitude for the mercy of Guru and Krishna combined to give us that seed. Otherwise, there's so many other seeds we could have gotten or can still get by misusing our independence. You can get the seed of karmic activity, or as we read in the purport, the seed of mundane affairs, political, philanthropic, social activities. The seed means that kernel of processes, conceptions, modus operandi for achieving a particular result. So especially at the time of initiation, you officially get the seed. And then what do you do with it? You want the creeper to grow, and that means you have to take care of the creeper. And that means become a gardener. A gardener cares. Now you can easily tell when the gardener's neglectful. The garden looks like a mess, weeds are everywhere, pests are everywhere. And you ask the person, well, what happened with this garden? Oh, I went away for 2 months, or I've been sick for 3 months, or I just didn't have the time, didn't have the willpower to deal with it anymore. The saying applies to our spiritual garden. What happened? I haven't chanted for years. What happened? I just got tired of being around devotees. And then the garden's neglected, the weeds choke out the existence of the devotional creeper. Many times there's no recovery until the next life, especially if there have been offenses. So we have to decide, what is it we're trying to achieve? As we stated the other day, it has been said that there's no greater error that you can do in life than to forget what is it you're trying to achieve. Why are you going from day to night and night to day, week to week, month to month, year to year? What are you trying to do? What are you trying to get? An ignorant person will just say, I just want to be happy. But there's more to it than that. You're having some conception in your mind, and that conception, that seed is full of procedures, methods. You're trying to achieve something. It's not just, I want to be happy. You're doing things. You have goals. Even if it's just to sleep all day, that's a goal. So you have to ask yourself, what is it you're trying to achieve? To avoid the greatest error of forgetting what it is you're trying to achieve. So Lord Chaitanya here is pointing out the seed that you received is meant to be watered by the process of hearing and chanting. All right, any questions?